While playing Friday the 13th the game, I came across a sign down by the water on the Packanack Lodge map that read, Sand Pond Trail, which is actually a nod to the filming location of the original Friday the 13th movie, at a little camp in New Jersey called Camp Nobi Bosco, which sits beside not Crystal Lake, but Sand Pond, which also happens to be the name of the body of water on the south side of that map. Sand Pond is located at the northwestern edge of New Jersey near the Delaware Water Gap National Recreation Area, whereas the fictional Crystal Lake is located in southwestern New Jersey near a town called Green Valley. How do we know this? There's a sign reading Green Valley, New Jersey in Friday the 13th Part 3. The first person to ever play Jason Voorhees was Ari Lehman, who was the child Jason that was seen at the end of the original Friday the 13th. Ari Lehman would later learn to play the guitar and form a Friday the 13th themed rock band appropriately named First Jason. Kane Hodder played Jason more than any other. He was Jason Voorhees in Friday the 13th Part 7, 8, 9, and Jason X. He would also later do all of the motion capture work for Friday the 13th the game, so he has now played as Jason from Parts 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, and Jason X. Oh, and he also played Freddy Krueger from the Nightmare on Elm Street series. Well, he played Freddy's hand in the end of Friday Part 9. Stuntman Kane Hodder was injured during a motion capture session for Friday the 13th, leaving his tricep with a huge bruise. This wasn't the first time Kane Hodder was injured, though. He has burn scars over a large portion of his body from a burn stunt that went wrong. In the original Friday the 13th, director Sean S. Cunningham used bright colors such as yellow raincoats and red doors in order to more easily identify people and places in the darkness of the camp. All of the characters in Friday the 13th the game are designed around people from the movies, aside from a few people that were added into the game as Kickstarter rewards for the people they were designed for. So there is actually a real LaChapa out there somewhere. Some of the roads and trails in the game are named after people who worked on the movies, such as Palmer's Pass, named after Betsy Palmer, Hodder's Pass, named after Kane Hodder, and Cunningham Road, named after director Sean S. Cunningham. The Blue Jason skin is from the Friday the 13th game on the Nintendo Entertainment System. It's kind of weird seeing a 3D rendering of an NES sprite on a non-Nintendo console. Many people who helped fund Friday the 13th the game were immortalized on tombstones in the cemetery, including a famous Friday the 13th Let's Player, H2O Delirious. The Nobsco license plate on the blue car is most likely a reference to Camp Nobi Bosco. The yellow car is the same car in Friday the 13th Part 2. It even has the same items rendered into its interior as in the movie, and the blue car may even be the one from Part 7. Tommy Jarvis in the game is actually voiced by Tom Matthews, the same actor that played the character in Part 6. The achievements or trophies in the game include references to other movies, including Star Wars, The Shining, and Evil Dead. There is a Freddy vs. Jason vs. Ash comic series that takes place after Freddy vs. Jason, in which an S-Mart opens up at Crystal Lake, and Ash is transferred there to manage the new store. There are actually connections between Friday the 13th, Evil Dead, and A Nightmare on Elm Street. Aside from the obvious Freddy vs. Jason, the first Evil Dead can be seen playing on the television in the original Nightmare on Elm Street. Likewise, in Evil Dead 2 and Ash vs. Evil Dead, a Freddy glove can be seen hanging in the basement of the cabin. Also, the Necronomicon, which is a primary element of the Evil Dead movies, is also a primary element of Friday the 13th Part 9, Jason Goes to Hell. There were other Friday the 13th games released before 2017. In 1989, there was a Friday the 13th game released for the Nintendo Entertainment System. It wasn't the best game. The navigation system was, well, it sucked, and you fought Jason Punch-Out style. But despite the game being so bad, I still have a fondness for it. This is the game that most people know of. This is the game the Blue NES Jason is from. But there was another Friday the 13th game released years before that one. In 1985, Friday the 13th was released for the Commodore 64 computer, and you had to go around the camp trying to find out which one of the counselors was the killer. So it's more like the original where Jason's mom, one of the camp workers, was the killer. But no, because that is Jason's mask on the cover. It must be Jason. So Jason is dressing up like a counselor so that he can kill them in secret? What? In Jason X, the fingers on one of Jason's gloves are gone, revealing his fingers beneath. This was odd. The biker look is a look Jason had never sported before. Fingerless gloves? Huh? Well, in the later release Freddy vs. Jason, Freddy slices Jason's fingers off, and they later regrew, but the glove was left damaged. Although, the hands did switch. One of the rewards for the Kickstarter backing was a special Jason skin created by who is considered the creator of Jason, Tom Savini. This Jason is Jason in Hell, demonic Jason after the events of Friday the 13th Part 9, Jason Goes to Hell. Bear traps are a reference to the Friday the 13th remake, in which a character finds himself trapped in a bear trap before getting a machete to the noggin. Jason was originally named Josh, but they decided that Josh didn't really sound intimidating enough, so they kept with the J sound and went with Jason. The ch-ch-ch ha-ha-ha sound effect that accompanies Jason and his mother stalking their victims is not that at all. It is actually the sound of the first two letters of kill, ki, k, and the sound of the first two letters of mommy, ma, because Jason's mother heard her son begging her to kill people in her head. Kill her, mommy. Kill her. Betsy Palmer only took the role as Pamela Voorhees because her car broke down and she needed the money for a new one. Betsy Palmer slapped the shit out of Adrienne King. Betsy Palmer said during an interview, "I said to Adrienne that night, why don't we rehearse this scene? I have to slap you, because on stage, when you slap somebody, you slap them. Well, we started to practice, and I hit her. She collapsed to the floor crying. Sean, she hit me. I said, well, of course I hit her. We were rehearsing the scene. He said, no, Betsy. We don't hit people in movies, we miss them. Kane Hodder is a member of the Hollywood Ghost Hunters. Alongside ghost hunter Jason Voorhees are some other notable figures within the horror community, including Adam Green, the director and producer of the Hatchet movies, R.A. Mahalhoff, who played Leatherface in Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3, Chris Carnell, not to be confused with Chris Cornell, rest in peace, who played the murderous miner in 2009's My Bloody Valentine, and Danielle Harris, who was Little Jamie Lloyd in Halloween 4 and 5, and also played Mary Beth Dunstan in Hatchet 2 and 3. Kevin Bacon's death in the original Friday the 13th was gross for everyone involved. The rig that was meant to pump the blood up through the fake torso was not working, so Tasso Stavrakis, who helped work on the special effects, had to blow through the tube in order to get the blood to gurgle out. The blood was actually real, genuine goat's blood. Ugh, gross. Kevin Bacon wasn't the most well-known actor in the movie at the time. That title went to Harry Crosby, son of famous actor and singer Bing Crosby. Two-time Oscar winner Shelley Winters was the first choice to play Pamela Voorhees, but she wasn't interested. Several crew members played the killer before Betsy Palmer was cast as Pamela Voorhees. In the scene where Pamela Voorhees is beheaded, you can see her hands coming up to reach for her missing head, but those aren't her hands. If you look closely, you can actually see black hair on the knuckles of the hands, because those hands actually belong to Tasso Stavrakis. In the original script, Jason was just a normal boy and not deformed, but Tom Savini decided to design him after a man that he used to see around town as a child. Rock star Lou Reed owned some property nearby to the original camp, so he kept the cast entertained by playing music for them. Actor Harry Crosby almost lost his sight from the fake blood used in the arrow to the eye scene. Elias Voorhees is the name of Jason's father. Kane Hodder was going to college majoring in geography when he decided to become a professional stuntman. A man by the name of Voorhees once confessed to the Black Dahlia killing. During the scene where Jason kills Dallas in Jason X, a stuntman was used, which was lucky for writer-actor Todd Farmer, but not so lucky for the stuntman, because when Kane Hodder smashed his face against the wall, he actually broke his nose. Jason has become a pop culture icon and has graced the screens of such shows as South Park, Family Guy, and Robot Chicken. In 1992, Jason won a Lifetime Achievement Award. Jason Voorhees has technically killed more than every other slasher, combined. Though he doesn't directly kill them. An entire space station full of people die as a result of his actions in Jason X. In several of the script ideas for Freddy vs. Jason, Freddy worked as a counselor at Camp Crystal Lake, where he molested a young Jason Voorhees. Thankfully, though Freddy vs. Jason wasn't a masterpiece, it was a hell of a lot better than that. The idea of Freddy being a child molester has always been something hinted at, but has never been fully confirmed. That is, until the Nightmare on Elm Street remake, where it was a primary element of the story. And look at how that turned out. It was a bad idea. And besides, the time frames don't add up. Jason died when he was around 11 in 1957, at Camp Crystal Lake in New Jersey. Freddy was born in 1942, which would have made him 15 at the time, so I guess it's possible he was a counselor since I don't know the age restrictions on counselors at the time, but it's doubtful. And besides, at that time, Freddy was still living at home with his foster father, Alice Cooper, presumably somewhere within the state of Ohio. Jason Voorhees once made an appearance on the Arsenio Hall show, where he said absolutely nothing. Bring a character that doesn't talk onto a talk show. The first day of filming Friday the 13th Part 4 was Halloween, so some of the older actors took young Corey Feldman, who played Tommy Jarvis, out for trick-or-treating. Tommy Jarvis was named after Tom Savini. There is an urban legend about a man by the name of Cropsey, who was burned in a prank by some campers. Then he disappeared, never to be seen again. Well, that is, aside from the campers he returned for. But none of them lived to tell about it. It is believed that this is one of the inspirations for the Friday the 13th movies. It is also more directly an inspiration for the movie The Burning, in which a man is burned by campers in a prank and then goes on to seek revenge on the campers at the camp. This is another awesome gore fest that Tom Savini worked on. And it has a young Jason Alexander, whom you might recognize as George Costanza from Seinfeld. Carrie Noonan, who played Paula in Jason Lives, Friday the 13th Part 6, came in to read the part for Tina in a movie called Birthday Bash. She quickly realized that this Birthday Bash was actually a code title for Friday the 13th Part 7, The New Blood. So obviously, she couldn't be cast in the movie. In Friday the 13th Part 4, Lawrence Monason thought it would be a good idea to get high for real before his character was to get high in the scene. He discovered it was a bad idea and had a bad time. Friday the 13th was so popular that it helped usher in dozens of slasher movies over the next 12 months. Kane Hodder, who played Jason more than anyone, has the word kill tattooed on the inside of his bottom lip. Friday the 13th is one of the inspirations for the many slasher movies, comics, TV shows, and stories. It is the inspiration for the Locust Lake Creepypasta series on the Sociopathic Pasta YouTube channel, written by both Sociopathic Pasta himself and Doughboy420, aka yours truly. Sorry, shameless self-promotion. Give it a listen and I hope you like it.